wake up, Jerry. It's time to get rid of the redheaded genius because he is a fool.
Oh, lots of issues with the Dallas Cowboys. They've lost 4 of the last 5. Joining us now to provide the word on the street is Bob Sturm of 1310 The Ticket. A lot of responses would work to this question, but what is the biggest issue with the Cowboys right now?
Wow, that is a great question. It changes from week to week. I think that's what might be the most frustrating thing about this Cowboys team is just putting it all together. But if there was one thing that I think everybody can agree on is a major detriment right now, it's the self-inflicted errors. And that can be a number of things: penalties, not having enough guys on the field, having too many guys on the field, and of course leading, being such a league leader in turnovers and a horrible plus-minus. Put it all together, that's a lot of self-inflicted errors to overcome when you're playing good teams like the Cowboys have been pretty much every week.
Do you put that more on the quarterback, Tony Romo, who does lead the National Football League in interceptions, or do you pin it more on the head coach, Jason Garrett?
Well, it's certainly a coordinated effort. I mean, here's the thing. Both of these guys have been together since 2007. So, I know around the league we talk about, well, this guy has had different coordinators. This guy's, breaking in a new quarterback. These two guys have been exactly the same since 07. So to say it's one and not the other, I think that's a bit unfair to the other guy. They have to share in this responsibility. They also have an offensive line that's substandard, receivers that can't always be trusted. So there's, when you go like this, when you're minus double digits, there's enough blame to go around, and there is here in Dallas.
If you could make change at one of those positions, at quarterback or head coach, which one would it be?
Well, I have to go with position scarcity, as we often say in sports. There are a lot of guys who have been able to coach in this league, a lot of guys who are out of work, who are thought of as top-notch coaches. There aren't that many top-notch quarterbacks. We can debate how good Romo is, but I believe he is one on a list of one of quarterbacks who have had a 90 quarterback rating or better every year of the last 6 seasons. He's trying to make it 7 this year. He has a lot of work to do, but that's a very, very short list. Romo's that guy. You can do better than Romo, but we see plenty of teams in this league that can do a lot worse than Tony Romo, so I got to stick with a quarterback until I have a better idea.
Well, the Cowboys sitting at 3-5 through the first half of the season. As you take a peek ahead to the second half of the season, what do you think is more likely, for the Cowboys to continue to have all these self-inflicted wounds and stumble in with a losing record, or to get it turned around and be in the playoff race come December?
Well, the more likely scenario is probably to stick with history and know that December is not always kind to this team, and to know that sweeps of the Redskins are the sweep of the Eagles. These are things that don't happen real often. So the more likely thing at 3-5 is that you're lucky to get to 8-8. But as you mentioned, and as a lot of people pointed out, this has been a very front-loaded schedule with good teams up front and not so good teams in the back. And they play a lot of home games. Not that that matters to this team. They have had some of their finest meltdowns in home games. But if they can get this thing going, there is enough on the schedule to say they still have a fighting chance. It's got to start Sunday, though, with their mirror image in Philadelphia. And that might be a loser leaves town match right there.
Your response to Jerry Jones' comments to Bob Costas last night, that he said at some point he would have fired the GM if he wasn't also the GM.
The funny thing about that topic is we've been saying that, or I personally have started saying that, I think in 1998 when I moved to this city. The general manager position has been a real issue. And, take the 09 draft, for instance. There's almost nothing left from the 09 draft. There have been too many draft debacles. There have been the Joey Galloway trade, the Roy Williams trade. I mean, Atlanta nailed the Julio Jones trade. Think about that if the Cowboys would have done that in one of those all-in receiver trades. So I will be the first to agree with Jerry Jones on something for one of these very rare times where it does look like GM has been holding them back. But where we have a difference is it doesn't appear like he has a whole lot of interest in switching that up anytime soon.
All right, with Jerry Jones as the owner and general manager, and Jason Garrett as the head coach, and Tony Romo as the starting quarterback, the Cowboys look to snap a 2-game losing streak at Philadelphia this weekend. Thanks a lot, Bob.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Moving ahead here on Around the League Live, a look to the running game and a very strong running game.